Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is chapter 3, and this is day 1, and basically we're going to start graphing. All right, so we're going to start out with some pretty basic things. You probably remember this from Algebra 1, but just got to talk about it a little bit. So first of all, let's just talk about just graphing, okay? So you guys know this is called the coordinate plane. All right, the coordinate plane is, remember, a coordinate is an x comma y. Okay, that's your coordinate, and you're plotting those points. So let's just talk, first of all, this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. And it's like sometimes people get these, confused. It's a good way to remember it is, it's, first of all, it's x comma y, so it's alphabetical. X comes before y. And think of an airplane. When an airplane takes off, I'm not going to draw, okay, I can try and draw an airplane. But here's the runway and here are the wheels. I don't know, it's terrible. Okay, so when an airplane goes to take off, it always goes in the x direction first, and then it goes up, right? Okay, so that's kind of remember that it's x and y, x then y. I think it's easier alphabetical, but if you want to remember the airplane, just try not to look at my airplane drawing. It's really bad. Okay, so this is the positive. Let me just kind of sketch it. This is the positive x-axis, right, on the positive side, and this is where it's negative on this side, on the left side. Same thing with y. It's positive in the y direction on top, and it's negative y on the bottom. All right. So here I can even put x, and then this is or y. Okay. So just that's really, really important. And there's one other special point here. It's kind of, I'll put that in green. This point right here, and first of all, that coordinate is 0, 0. And that is called the origin. Okay, that's the middle of, or the center of the coordinate plane. All right, pretty easy. So let's plot some points around here. And, so here, I'll do it kind of on the side here. If I said 3, 2. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3. 3 in the x direction and 1, 2 in the y direction, so your coordinate would be here. So this is 3, 2. Okay, so let's do another one. Negative 2, 4. So it's negative 2 in the x direction, always x first. Negative 2 in the x direction and positive 1, 2, 3, 4 in the y direction. So that would be negative 2, 4. Okay, keep going here. How about both negatives? So negative 2, negative 3. Well, again, it's negative 2 in the x direction, so we're going to the left, and then negative 3 in the y direction. So this is right here, negative 2, negative 3. Okay, pretty easy. And then let's do, well, we got a couple more here, but let's do 3, negative 1. Okay, so again, that's 3 in the x direction and then 1 down, so that would be this point right here, kind of in the middle of that 0, 0 right there. But that's 3, negative 1. Okay, and if we're on one of the axes, we call, right, this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. So if we're on one of the axes, that's going to be a 0 for that coordinate. So for example, if I said graph 0, 3, that's 0 in the x direction. I'll make this a different color. 0 in the x direction and 3 in the y direction. So 1, 2, 3. So this would be 0, 3. And then, something I could say negative 4, 0. That means you go negative 4 in the x direction. So negative 1, 2, 3, 4. And 0 in the y direction. So that coordinate would be right here. That would be negative 4, 0. Okay? So anyway, that's plotting points. Again, most of you guys should really be pretty good with that, but you should really know how to graph these points. All right, so let's talk about quadrants real quickly. I think it's an important thing to make sure you guys know that. Okay, so quadrants, this is our first quadrant. This is the second quadrant. This is the third quadrant. And this is the fourth quadrant. They use Roman numerals. I don't care if you use Roman numerals or regular numbers. Doesn't matter. Okay. But how do you remember this? That was kind of a clever way to remember it. I thought so. Okay, so we are the Conan Cougars. So Conans or Cougars doesn't matter. So the C. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty convenient, right? We got the 4 quadrants, and it's easy to remember just because it's the C or the Conan. The nice thing about going to Conan is that you have the C. Now, if you went to Schomburg, that's complicated because Schomburg is S, and you go 1, 2, 4, 3, so that is bad. If I did Hoffman, I'm going to start at 2. That's bad. Even Palatine, I'm going to start at 2, right? When you make the P for Palatine, that's bad. And Fremd, you're always starting here at 2. Okay, so that doesn't work for any of the schools except for Conant. Conant is the only one that works. So let's get rid of all that other stuff and C for Conant. Okay, so that works really well. Anyway, those are the quadrants. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. So let's talk a little bit about something called domain and range. So these are just kind of math words, and domain is a math word for X values, and range is a word for Y values. That's all it is. So if I give you a coordinate of 2, -6, and I ask you what is the domain, I'm going to just abbreviate it as D. The domain is literally the 2, because remember it's X, Y. That's all it is. Domain is 2. And the range is the Y value, so it's -6. Okay, so if I gave you a whole bunch of coordinates, let's do that. If I said 2, 5, 3, 7, 4, 5, and 2, 8. So if I asked you what the domain was, you would list all the X values. Now here's the deal. So I've got this, 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 and this. Those are my X values, all right? And if you notice the 2 is repeated, we'll talk a little bit more about that later, about what happens when it's repeated. But for now, you don't repeat it twice, okay? It's like if I said, how many, name all the different names in the room, and there's, 5 Petes in the room. You don't say, okay, there's a Jim, and there's a Pete, and there's a Joe, and there's a Pete, and there's a Mary, and there's a Pete. You just say, oh, Pete is a name that's used. You say it one time. So if I ask you, what is the domain for this, you are just going to say, it's 2, 3, 4. You don't say 2 again because you're repeating yourself. Okay, so the domain is 2 and 3 and 4. And then the range, same thing. Don't repeat yourself. Of course, our range is going to be the 5. So you got the ones in purple here. Okay, so 5, 7, and then 5 and 8. So you don't repeat the 5s. So you're going to say your range is 5, 7, 8. That's your range. Okay. Now, sometimes kids kind of forget which one domain is and which one range is. I always tell it's kind of like alphabetical. You know how X comes before Y, kind of when you graph it, X comes before Y. Well, think of D and R, domain and range, right? D comes before R alphabetically. So the D always goes with the X and the R goes with the Y. So just a good way to do that. But it's really easy. You literally are just listing the X values and you're listing the Y values. That's all you do. Super, super easy. Okay? All right, let's talk about one, and this is a pretty fast lesson here, but let's talk about one more thing here. If I ask you, the directions are going to be determine whether the given order pairs. So determine whether the given order pairs are solutions of the indicated equation, or of the given equation. Okay, so it's really simple. If I give you an equation like, let's say y is equal to 3x plus 5. Okay, so this is given. And then I give you, when I say an order pair is the same as saying basically x comma y. It's giving you some coordinate x comma y. And literally what you're going to do with that x comma y is you are going to plug it into the x and the y and just see if the left equals right. So this is our thing we're going to do here is we're going to plug in plug in x and y, and then we're going to see if the left side equals the right side. That's all you're going to do. Okay, so let me give you points. So this is our equation, y equals 3x plus 5, and I'm going to give you the coordinate is going to be, let me put a number here. Coordinate is going to be 4, 17. So again, put 4 in for x and 17 for y. It's so easy. That's all you do. So basically you're going to have y is 17, so you're going to put 17 equals 3 times the x is 4 plus 5. So you get 17 equals 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. Hey, how you doing? Okay, so this is true. So if it's true, and it says determine whether the ordered pairs are solutions, we say it's a solution. All right? Pretty easy. Okay, I can give you, let's just do another one here quickly, and same directions. So I can give it to you in the form of, 2x plus 3y, is equal to 10. All right, so I can say x is equal to -2, y is equal to 4. So I can give it to you this way, -2, 4. That's usually the way I give it to you. This is actually an ordered pair. This is just handing you x and y. Okay, so you just plug it in to see if the left side equals the right side. So 2 times -2 plus 3 times 4 equals 10. And so we plug it in, we got 2 times -2 is -4 plus 12 equals 10. And -4 plus 12 is certainly not 10, it's 8. So 8 equals 10, and it does not equal 10. So 8 does not equal 10. So no, it is not a solution. Okay? So that is literally what you do. You are plugging in those values and seeing if it's a solution or not. So it's a pretty simple chapter, domain and range, and plotting points. Okay? So that's it for day one. It's not too bad, right? Have an outstanding day, math fans. Adios. Goodbye.